Welcome to Agents of Abundance, the only podcast that teaches real estate agents who are ready to leave scarcity behind how to build a business that truly supports their best life. I'm your host, Dawn Loding, and each week we explore abundance mindset, leadership, systems, and community to help you move out of survival mode and into sustainable success. Get ready to see things in a whole new way, starting right now. Hello, friends, and welcome back to Agents of Abundance. This is the place where we move from scattered to scheduled, from scarcity to abundance, and truly learn what it means to flourish in real estate as well as in real life. So today's conversation is one that I believe every agent needs to hear, not just for themselves, but for their families, their clients, and even the next generation. I have my good friend, Dwayne Pano from Houston, Texas, here today with us. He's a good friend. He's been with me since the beginning at Epique. And Dwayne, I just cannot wait to interview you today.
I'm excited. Thanks so much for having me on.
Yay, of course. I'm super excited. And we're going to get into all these subjects during this conversation, but we both
Absolutely.
are so aligned in what our mission is to bring awareness to the world and to really help agents, make that leap from living a life of scarcity, fight or
Mhm.
flight, all of that. But the first person that has to make that change is you.
Right.
And, we have to educate ourselves first and make those changes in ourselves. And so we're going to dig deep into all kinds of things about that. But first of all, I want to start with you. Tell me a little bit about Dwayne. Like, who is Dwayne Pano behind real estate? Who are you?
Yeah, that's a great question. I said Dwayne Pano, married. My wife's named Katarina. She's great. She's awesome. We have 3 kids that range from the ages of 11 down to 6. So 11, 10, and 6. We homeschool our kids. We made that decision. And we'll talk more about that when we talk about finances and the next generation. But live here in Houston and life is good, man. The Lord just keeps showing me new things. And outside of that, like real estate's what I do
Mm.
to pay the bills, but I'm really passionate about teaching not just the next generation, but families in general about like how money works and how it's operating as the Lord keeps revealing new things to me, and really just making sure that families are protected in more than one ways. And so that's really a lot of the things that I do. I believe in building an ecosystem for myself, so I'm not just dependent on one thing.
I love it. And we're doing that here at Epic
Mhm.
because we have a whole ecosystem built into our brokerage. And so
Yeah.
it's a matter of really just kind of retraining ourselves using the systems that we already have. And I know, like me, you're in a lot of leadership roles.
Mhm.
And tell me about that. How do you feel about leadership at Epic?
Yeah, leadership at Epic. I love Epic because Epic allows me to build what I feel like I'm gifted and called to build inside of our company, right? I get to love on agents and help them grow in their business as an area leader, but also help other area leaders with some of their agents. I get to have high level conversations about the things that I'm working on with founders and really navigate in such a way to really help like bring my specialties and my little niche into the fabric of Epic and really focus on changing the way that we do real estate as a whole in general. And so many agents are just out here on the rat race. And
Yeah.
when tragedy strikes, you kind of step off the rat race and like, is this really what I want to do?
Yeah.
Like, this is not what I signed up for. And so
Yeah. You
my
have
role, go ahead.
I feel like you really do have to be intentional if you're going to be an entrepreneur, especially in real estate, because you
Yeah.
have to understand all of this stuff. It's not just another payday. Like we
Mhm.
have to set ourselves up for success.
Yes.
All right, what shaped your passion? Like when did you get so passionate about financial literacy?
Yeah, so there's a couple things that happened, right? Growing up, like we didn't have a lot of money. My mom worked. My dad passed when I was 5, and my mom was always at work. And so, like, she just did what she could to make sure that the family was taken care of. And it wasn't until I recognized that I was kind of putting myself in that same pattern of just like being in survival mode. My
Mm,
wife 3 years ago had a stroke, and it was that stroke that caused me to step back and to really evaluate everything. You know, naturally, when your spouse or your loved one is having a stroke or a major medical thing, you want to be by their side. You're not worried about clients, you're not worried about work.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, in the real estate world, if you're not calling your clients aren't calling you, even if
Yeah.
they are dear friends. I wanted to make sure that my wife was good. My clients moved on. And as I'm just being there for my wife and making sure that she's fine, right? Like having a stroke is something that's serious. My grandmother passed from a stroke. So I understood the ramification of what was going on. But as
Yeah.
that happened, my business tanked and stress and anxiety started like growing. And I remember driving down the street and audibly hearing the Lord say, "Hey, I need you to learn everything you can about how money works." And in that moment, I just committed to learning, becoming a student, reading books, watching podcasts, signing up for conferences, being put on stages and being in different rooms because I had to learn opposite of what was being taught. Right. The real estate world is, hey, go out there, pound the
Yeah.
phones, pound the pavements, like make the calls. But in reality, that's not true freedom. That's not really what I wanted. I didn't jump into real estate to have another job per se. I
Yeah.
want to work and do the things that I do well, but at the same time, I wanted there to be freedom in real estate. My client is controlling my time. And with 3 small kids, when your wife is sick, she's completely fine now, healed from that. But that's when I really started to evaluate things. I didn't want to tie my income to somebody else's emotional decision.
Yeah.
In a sense, if do you want to buy this house or not? But I also wanted to help the next generation. I spent 20 years in urban camp ministry using sports and other things culturally to share the gospel. And it was like having a conversation with my son. I'm trying to use flashcards, workbooks to teach him financial literacy, and he was not having it. And I decided to have a conversation with him instead of getting mad. Hey, son,
Yeah.
like, what are your favorite subjects in school? And once he told me, I was like, why do you love those subjects? He was like, because I get to have fun. And I was like, so what we're doing when we sit, we call them Monday Mondays. Is it fun for you? He was like, no, I'm bored. And so then I was like, all right, well, you spent 20 years running camps and developing programs for other kids. Do the same thing for your family. And then I decided to, money's a game.
Yeah.
So let me teach my kids how to understand it and how to grow their own wealth and abundance by being creative. And then from there, things just started to evolve and grow.
Yeah. Well, and I think this is one of your quotes. People don't fail because they don't earn. They fail
Mhm.
because they don't understand money.
Yeah.
And it starts with our kids. Like,
Hmm.
but it's really hard to teach your kids about money when you yourself don't even know about money. And
Yes.
this is where I feel like there's a huge gap, a
Hmm.
real problem. And so, why is financial literacy still missing for so many adults?
Yeah. Well, it's a couple of things. One, we've outsourced education, right? So if you really sit back and think about it, all right, we expect school to teach our kids everything they should know. And we outsource it. We
Yep,
really just
we
depend on
did.
the
I
school
did.
to be the ones to teach that. But in reality, we're responsible for that. Deuteronomy 6 tells us plainly, I am responsible for teaching my kids. Me, when I was a youth pastor, it used to make me so mad when the parents would be like, "Hey, like, how's this time with the Lord?" Well, that's your responsibility. I am not that child's father. You are. You are
Yeah,
the one who is solely responsible for teaching them. And once I recognized that, then I started looking at like, so then what am I teaching my kids? But
yeah,
not just with my words, but with my actions, right? And we always talk about the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. The word says train up a child in the way she goes, and when they get old, they won't depart from it. Meaning, whatever you model for that kid when they're older, it's like that progressive commercial. I think it's progressive where the guy's like, hey, you are your parents, and they all make an insurance decision and life decisions based off of what their parents taught them. That's what gets passed down from generation to generation.
which is really scary because I mean, I'm a perfect example of that because I wasn't raised with money and I
Hmm.
had divorced parents. Like I had a really hard, rough childhood.
Hmm.
And I knew the whole time I wanted to do something more with my life. I wanted more, like
Yeah.
we all do as
Hmm.
entrepreneurs. And especially like a lot of us at Epic, like we're very like minded and we're trying
Yeah.
to all, do something different here and be a
Hmm.
part of this culture and all of that. But what I found was when I got my real estate license and I was like, "Yeah, I'm in charge of my future now." But guess what? I took all the same things I learned from my parents into my business and
Yes.
did the wrong thing. And now, now I'm seeing that. And in the past 5 to 10 years, I've really tried correcting it,
Mm.
but it's not easy. It is
It's not
not
easy
easy.
at
And
all.
it's something most of us would rather just say, screw it. I'm going to just go spend some money because that
Yep.
feels better.
And it's an embarrassing thing, right?
Hmm.
Nobody wanted to be the poor kid in school or the poor family that couldn't afford to take care of your family. None of that. And so what happens? We suffer in silence and we begin to try to figure it out on our own.
Yeah.
And so when I started really just evaluating life and what was I taught? What was modeled in front of me? Oh, shoot, did I get this habit from my mom? Did I get this from this uncle? Like, and I just had to really do some hard work
Yeah.
and honestly, like, grow up in a lot
Yeah.
of ways and make some decisions. There's a book, I think we talked about this book before, Secrets of a Millionaire's Mind. And he talks
Yeah.
about when families have conflict about money, it's not because of one person understands this and the other one doesn't. They both come in with their own separate blueprints, right? So if
Yeah.
I if you're thinking about we both in real estate, if we both have like, hey, we got this pot of land, we're gonna build this house, and I got this blueprint and you got a totally different blueprint, and we tell the construction workers, hey, no, use this one, no, use this one, no, use this one. Everybody gets confused. But when we really sit and build our own blueprint together, of, hey, this is how we're going to move forward, then everything works in harmony. And so that's what I really aim to do. Before I even started my own thing, I was teaching financial literacy with another company. They was letting me and my wife make sales calls. I talked to people all over the world: Spain, Italy, Dubai, South Africa, London, Germany, Mexico, here in the United States. And the conversation was always the same, even through broken English. I don't understand money. I don't want my kids to be entitled. Can you help me?
Mm.
And that's when I discovered, like, man, there's a problem that's not necessarily an American problem. It's a world problem. We
Yeah.
all don't understand money.
It
And so how
is.
do we do that?
Yeah. So what do you think is one of the biggest mistakes that real estate agents make?
I think one of the biggest mistakes that real estate agents make is they don't use all their gifts and talents.
Mm.
They only really have tunnel vision for the one thing and don't recognize that there are other things that you can do that can bring income in, right?
Oh, yeah,
And
multiple streams of income,
yes,
yeah.
multiple streams,
We
but not
talk
only
about
that,
that a lot.
eh, not only that, but thinking that I can only do residential. Like,
Yeah.
real estate is it's a huge ocean. But once you start figuring out, like, how to use the tools, that's why I love Epic. Epic gives me the ability to do different things inside of it. Like,
Yeah.
we talk about the edge card. We were on the call previously together. And I was like, man, if agents has understood that I can go buy a home and use the edge card to do the renovations, that is so much easier to
Yeah.
do than those things. And so it's like that, but also coming together. We always understand how to go get clients. We work with investors, right? Or we buy a home that's investors and we understand a bunch of people got to sign off on the thing, but we don't think to come together to invest together.
Yeah.
We don't really work together well as a unit. And so when agents come into the business, they automatically think it's going to be like HGTV or Selling Sunset. And guess what? It is
It's
nothing like
not.
that at all.
It's nothing like
It's
that.
nowhere near that. It's you got to work, you
I
got to
mean,
grind.
yeah, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I've been doing
Mm-mm,
it for 24 years and I'm so grateful. I have learned so many lessons and
mhm,
it's literally, taken up almost 3 chapters of my life book. Like,
yeah,
I've been a realtor in my 30s, my 40s and my 50s. And it's just a part of my life and I wouldn't trade it for anything. But I recognize now that I have to learn the lessons that are
mhm,
put in front of me because here's the thing, income doesn't equal wealth.
no.
So what does? Like, in your opinion, like, what equals wealth to you?
Yeah, I think what equals wealth, it's when you're able to set things up in such a way that you're making money in your sleep, multiplying your money, right? How do you put your money to work for you? We work really hard for money. But what if we flip that instead of working hard for money and made our money work hard for us? Like, what if we learn to do that? What if we set life up in such a way that we're able to pass things on to our children's children? Like, to me, that is where true wealth is really built. It's not accumulating a bunch of things, it's the generosity piece. Can I help somebody start their project? Can I help somebody else that's in need? Like, that's always my goal. Can I teach my kids to be generous? One of the rules we have in our house is, hey, do not treat your friends better than you treat your family.
Mm.
It's a rule, because if you can't be generous with your brother or sister, you're not gonna do it out
Yeah.
there, right? You're not gonna do it out there. So share what you have, right?
Yeah.
There's always somebody else in need. And the Lord always brings it back. And so figure out, how can I help this person? How can I help that person? So as we're building wealth, right? The abundance that the Lord has definitely gifted us to walk in, and recognize that commercials are designed to make you feel like you're less than, right? It's always some new shiny object, right?
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
always have to figure out, like, man, if I don't have this thing, then I'm not like such and such. But I just want to be the best
So
Dwayne that
false.
I'm gifted to be, and
Yeah.
not pay attention to that.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Like, I am not a big consumer of social
Mhm,
media, and I don't buy into all of that stuff, and I actually have a workshop called Scattered to Scheduled, which
mhm,
is about eliminating all those bright, shiny objects that realtors constantly run after because we don't need more leads, we need more conversations with the ones
yep,
already in our database, and
yes,
so you just need a system, you need clarity, you need to understand what's going on. That's all for another
yes,
subject. So,
yes,
I wanna dig into the real estate part of this for a minute
mhm,
because you and I are co-leaders of, what used to be Financial Freedom Friday, but is now
yes,
moving forward, it's money and your mindset or
mhm,
mindset and your money, and we're on Mondays, moving starting soon. So, by the time this airs, we'll be on Mondays.
absolutely.
But I think it's really important to bring this awareness to all the agents that are at Epic Realty because we're building wealth.
Yeah,
We have multiple streams of income built right into our brokerage, and we wanted a space where we could teach them how to manage all of that, and that's what we're doing with mindset and your money. And
yeah.
so what, in your opinion, with all of your financial genius that you have going
Yeah,
on,
and I'm learning.
what are 3 things a realtor should do the first 3 things that they should do to take control of their finances?
I think the
That's a
very
good
first
one,
thing,
huh?
that's a very good
I'm
question.
taking notes so I could put it
Yes,
in our workbook.
I think the very first thing is to recognize the leaks, right?
Exactly.
And so what I mean by that, it's, we don't recognize how often we're just bleeding money, right?
Yes.
And it's the small things that catch us off guards, right? The subscriptions of, I forgot to cancel this, so now it's on auto repeat, right? It's every month, and you're like, oh, I need to cancel that, I need to cancel that, I need to cancel
Mhm.
that. It's those things. It's the many trips to the gas station because we're always in our car, right? And so it's like, I gotta swipe my car because I gotta eat lunch, or those things. It's about preparation. You talked about scattered to schedule. What if I just meal prepped and brought my lunch with me in a cooler if I'm going to be showing homes all day, and I can eat between showings real quick? Those things, right? Like, so number one, recognize the leaks. Recognize
Okay.
that you are going to be signing up for things that you really don't need, and you really don't, and you won't use. Quite frankly, don't get caught up in the moment of, "Oh, I got to sign up for this thing." You don't have to. You don't have to sign up for that thing at all. So that's number one. Number two, I think I'm really big in life insurance. Like I said, when my wife had that stroke, I discovered that had we had life insurance through the right company, we could have accessed up to $1.5 million, right? Tax free. I could have accelerated my death benefit. And so now, understanding how the game is actually played, like, how are wealthy people really moving? They move money around through life insurance all the time. Life insurance is no longer just bury me with dignity. It's a strategy, right? I can set my kids up. I can protect my income, those things. So I got to protect what I think I'm going to make in a year's time. That's important, because when sickness happens, and it can, and it can, will, you got to make sure that you can sustain what you've built, right? You got to protect it. You have to protect it. So notice the leaks, protect what you have. And the third one, I
What
would
about
say, hang out with the right agents.
oh,
You got to hang out with the right people with the right mindset. Because
oh
if
my
I hang,
gosh.
like, because the mindset is contagious. If I'm hanging out with a bunch of people that all they want to do is go out and have fun, they're going to cause the first thing to happen, like I just said.
Yeah.
My circle matters.
Yeah.
Like, wealth is built in circles. And so if the people in my circle have a very low mentality about money, then I can expect that I will have the same mentality. Like, I love to be in rooms that force me to grow up and to elevate.
I love it. I love it so much, and that's one of the reasons I wanna be in the same room as you all the time. Like, every time I'm with you, I just like, you light something up inside of me that makes me wanna just do even better.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
now let's talk about this is a really hard subject right here, and I see it
Mhm.
all the time, and I even live it sometimes still,
Mhm.
but I used to live it every single time. Mistakes agents make when they start earning more. Because you know how that is, like, you get your real estate license, and some agents, like, they just go and they just are having closing after closing, they're making all
Mhm.
this money. Pretty soon it's time to file your taxes, you haven't saved a dime. Like,
Yes.
what is that mistake? Like, what do they need how could they do this differently? And that's
Yeah.
what we need to teach them and help
Mhm.
them and give them the tools. So,
Yeah. You just said it, right? Put
yeah.
doing the audit. I think what happens is lifestyle creep, right? And especially if you grew up not getting a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
If your family grew up in poverty or borderline poverty, when you see, oh shoot, I sold this house and I just made $18,000
Mhm.
from this one $300,000 home, like, right? When you see stuff like that, you're like, oh shoot, then I can go do this. And the other problem is, I remember asking a group of kids, I was talking to them about money, and they're high school kids, and most of them had a job. And I said, oh, y'all getting paid today? I say, hey, raise your hand if your money's already spent before you got it. And they were like, what do you mean? If you already predetermined what you're going to buy as soon as this money hits your bank account.
That's a huge problem. Huge.
We all do it.
Yeah, and we think, "Well, I made that $15,000. I'm just gonna go make it again, so I'll just blow this." Like, that's
Yes.
huge.
Yes. And so if my money is already spent, right? If I've given my money a debt action plan in a sense, not in a good sense, like if I've already determined that I'm going to go blow this money on this thing, whether it be a concert, new clothes. Now, if if they're not needs, then those things can wait.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I
you
saw
got to
a
give your
great
money an assignment.
Yeah, exactly. I saw a great video the other day that Mel Robbins had on her podcast,
Hmm.
and I'll link it in the I'm gonna link this podcast because Mel Robbins, for one, who doesn't love Mel Robbins? And
Yeah.
so she has these 4 financial gurus in one episode. It's like the highlights from previous seasons, and one of the
Mhm.
girls, and I don't remember the names, but I remember the concept, and it was to write down all your money for the month and write down next to it if it's like a constant, like something
Mhm.
you have to pay, a credit card, like a bill. It's something that they're gonna come after you if you
Mhm.
don't pay it. And then the other one, you there's only 2 categories and that's it.
Mhm.
And that's one, like you have to pay that. The second is I wish I could remember what they called it, but the second one is it's a spend. It's you
Mhm.
choosing to spend the money. It's on eating out, it's on the movies, it's on clothing, it's on so when you become aware of what that looks like, then like you start choosing those must spends. Like you want to pay those off because for one, you realize how much money you're spending on those things.
Yeah.
And then for two, like you're like, you know what? I don't think I want to spend $400 at the grocery store. Let's cut back on some of these meals. We don't
Mhm.
have to have steak and lobster. Right?
Yes.
But, I
Yeah.
mean, you choose. You get to choose. That's the beauty. We all have our own financial stories,
Mhm.
but the
And I
first
will
thing
also add this. One of the concepts that me and my wife teach a lot on is teaching kids that they can't have lazy money.
Oh,
Give
yeah, I
your
love
money a
lazy.
job,
Yeah.
right? Like, we don't want lazy money. Meaning, if my money is just sitting in the
Oh,
bank account, right? Here, all right, let me go ahead and just tell y'all this right now. I got to lean in close for this part.
okay. I'm here. You got me.
When you put your money just in the bank account, they're going to loan your money out and make interest off your money. You're allowing your money to be lazy while the bank is making money off of your money. And you see less than 1% off that. So then why not learn to become your own bank, right? Have the discipline, pay yourself first, pay yourself back with interest, but you have to disrupt everybody else's interest in order to put your interest first. When my money is lazy, money is meant to be in flow. It's meant to
Yeah.
be moving. It's not meant, right? And here's the other dangerous thing that happens, right? We think, well, great, I'm not a spender, I'm a saver though. Great. But it's still lazy money. For every $100 that I put in the bank is loaning that money out at $1,000 with interest. So when I borrow money from the bank, I'm borrowing my own money back and paying them back from the money that I already have in there. Why not set your life up to do the same thing for yourself? People don't think that they can do that. Banks have the most life insurance policies because they understand how things are. If you are a business, right? I'm about to give you high level stuff.
Okay.
If you are a business, right? As real estate agents, we are independent contractors. But if you operate as an entity, you run a team, why not have a key man policy on yourself? Right? So, Dawn, think about it. You should run teams, all these things. If something
Yeah.
happened to Dawn and you want your business legacy to continue, have a key man policy on you, right? You have it negotiated in writing where the team owns the policy, but it's on you. If something happens to you, the money goes
Mm,
right back into the company. Like, start thinking long term.
yeah.
Like,
This is
start,
how wealthy people think, you guys.
yeah,
Like, this is big stuff. I'm actually working with Denise too right now on this very subject, who I'll put her information in the chat, or I'll
yeah.
put Dwayne's because Dwayne works with her. So if you
Yeah,
want
that's
more
my business partner.
information on that, Dwayne is your guy because
It's
I'm,
so many things, right?
yeah.
Even SBA loans, right? So remember, there's one thing that was said at shareholders that I don't think anybody else heard. Matter of fact, they didn't even say it. I just saw the words across the screen and I was like, oh, they talked about SBA. It said SBA loans. And I said,
Mhm.
I know that you can use life insurance as collateral to get an SBA loan. And you know what you can use SBA loans for? You can use SBA loans to buy short term rentals.
Mm,
It's just knowing the game and how to play it.
yeah,
And so I
I love
immediately had
it.
a conversation about, hey, let's do this. Let's figure this out. Um, and let's navigate through these things, right? And so when you start as an agent, you got to start seeing things as opportunities. It's why I started adding other things to my tool belt, right? Everybody doesn't want to buy a house, but everybody wants to protect their families. That's why I got into financial services. Also, everybody wants their kids to be smarter than what they were and to have more. So that's why I started teaching kids about financial literacy. But I started paying attention to things that weren't said out loud, but because I'm in other rooms, right, going to a life insurance conference, financial services conferences, and understand the different products and what can be done, when I saw SBA loans, I said, oh, I know what I can do with that.
Yeah,
Hey, who do you have as your financial services rep? Oh, you don't have anybody. Great, let's meet.
yeah,
And
I
I'm
love
able
it.
to now put myself in there using another skill set from another company to do that. A great book for everybody to read. Don knows me, I'm a book recommender. Innovative Secrets of Steve Jobs.
Mm,
Fantastic book. Do you know how we got the magnetic charger for the MacBooks? He got it from a Japanese rice cooker. And everybody was like, that's stupid. Why would you ever do that? It doesn't make sense. But when you think about it, if you trip over your MacBook, it just automatically pulls the cord off and you don't damage your computer. But the old ones, HPs, Dells, all that, it would yank the whole thing down.
yeah,
He was able to go to another industry, see what they're doing, and combine it with that. Do that with your business and combine all your things that you're just naturally in and watch your life explode.
I love it. You want more of this stuff? We talk like this all the time on our Mindset and Money Mondays in Epic Essentials at Epic. So if you're with Epic, we will see you inside of there. And if you're not with Epic, we open that up once a quarter to everybody.
Mhm.
It's going to be open up here in a couple of weeks, Epic for all, and we share because we want everyone to be successful, not just those of us who are here at Epic. So
Yeah.
all right, let's talk about the inner game of money because money is never just math. It's
Mhm.
emotion, identity, and belief. And it all starts with that mindset, right?
Yeah.
Like you can step into the mindset daily that you're going to be successful, that you're going to have closings, that you're going to take care of your money. Or you
Mhm.
can step into the space where I don't have enough money. It'll
Mhm.
never work out for me. Things are never working out for me. Like, I wanna talk to you about that, those
Yeah.
limiting beliefs that we
Mm.
tell ourselves as human beings, not just realtors, but, like,
Yeah.
in general. What limiting beliefs around money do you see most often?
One, I think well, you just said them all, right?
Mm,
Like, I'll never have enough. I can never make it. Um, I just don't have enough time, right?
yeah.
Like, it's always these things, right? I know the things that were said to me as I transitioned into real estate, and when things got tight, I would play those loops in my head, and then finally I'd say, like, that's not true.
It's
Like,
not.
this thing is going to work for me. It's
Absolutely.
going to work. It's going to do what I need to do. Excuse me. And we play these beliefs all the time. We play what somebody else said to us or what we think somebody would say to us. And so we get paralyzed based off of our thoughts. And most of those things, if not all of them, are just flat out lies.
I know, it's crazy when you turn it around and you change your money story.
Mhm.
And this is what I teach. This is why I have Agents of Abundance altogether, is
Yeah.
all of the stuff we're talking about right now. I absolutely love it. I wanna give agents some ideas, though. How do they start to rewrite their story,
Yeah. I
in your
think
opinion?
honestly, yeah. So I had something happen this morning. I did a masterclass yesterday called the Fun Money Method. Um, and I was teaching parents about how to have fun with their kids while teaching money. Um, and I'm in this prayer group and they know what I was doing, no questions about it. And I felt this lie creep up. See, they don't support you. And I literally verbally said out loud, that's not true. No, my friends do support me. I had this many people on the call. It doesn't matter if this person didn't say anything. I got support over here. That's not true. And I am not accepting that. And I
Good.
sometimes verbally have to say things out loud of, no, that's not true. That's a lie.
Yeah,
I am not basing my life off of a lie anymore. Me and my wife are
yeah,
having this conversation. There's always a possibility of something, but a possibility doesn't make it true. Is it
yeah.
possible that this deal can fall through? Yes. There's always a possibility that a deal
But
can
there's a
fall through.
possibility that it won't. Like, I'm going with that. That feels
I'm
way
going
better.
and that's what it is, right? I am going with
Exactly.
the thing that I believe. And so if I'm always like, "Ah, this is not gonna work out. See, I told you, great, you brought that to yourself. And so for me now, it's just a matter of like, I don't believe that. It's
Yeah.
going to work out for me.
And
Always.
sometimes it doesn't, and there's a saying that I have heard and I use some all the time. "If not this, something better."
Yes. Always
Sometimes
something
things
better.
are not gonna work out. That's just life in general.
Yes.
Life is
Always
not
something better.
all about, sunshine and roses. Like, it
Mhm.
we life is gonna happen. We have real people in our lives who come from different backgrounds, and we gotta figure out how to live together. Like, there's just all kinds of things happening, but just it's all in how you look at it. It's your
Yes.
perspective. It's the
Yes.
perspective.
Yes. And so this is a book that I read. He was talking about when we walk into a museum, we go, oh my gosh, this painter is so amazing. This is amazing painting. And we often look down on ourselves because we don't think that we qualify or we don't think that we're good enough to walk into a situation, right? Because we heard of all of our lives and all those things. And I just started rejecting a bunch of things. Having a conversation with my son when he gets in trouble, he starts being like, I'm just this, I'm that. I'm like, hey, no. You made a mistake, but you are not your mistake.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to allow you to live your life as if you are the mistake that you made. You made a
Yeah.
mistake.
Yeah.
There's consequences for the mistake, but
I
we move past that. And when it comes to the way that we think and we see ourselves, I always have to look into the mirror and go, who do I choose to be today?
mm,
And what do I choose to believe? And a lot of that has to do with the what I allow inside of here, what I allow these to listen to, what I allow these to see. Um, I had to like rewrite a lot of things, and it wasn't that I did anything like drastic. I just stopped doing a lot of things. I stopped being up to 2 o'clock in the morning playing video games and
yeah.
started picking up a book instead. I stopped binge watching shows all the time. Now, there's a
Yeah.
couple shows I love to watch with my wife and a couple of them, but for the most part, me and my friend got into it last week. Hey man, you watching this? Brian, I'm too busy building to be here watching TV all the time. I got things to do. Like I only get one life and I want to steward it well.
I
And
love
so
it.
when I understood that, my mindset started to shift. I'm responsible for the climate in my home. I'm responsible for teaching my kids, for leading my wife, and I'm responsible for getting out what I'm gifted and called to put out there to the world. So I can't waste time watching shows or playing video games all the time.
Nope, I agree 100%. We have to take charge of our own story.
Mhm,
And I mean, I use the analogy of writing a book because I co-authored a book, and when I sat down to write that chapter that I wrote, I had to go back and through my own life and dig in. And so I like to think of each chapter as a decade of
mm,
my life. And
mm,
so I do that and I learn from the mistakes I made in that chapter. And,
yeah,
once after I co-authored that book, like so many things started changing for me because I look at life differently now.
mhm,
Did I learn that lesson or do I still need to work on that?
yeah,
And what do I want my next chapter to look like? Because I have to build that in this chapter in order to get there.
mhm.
So, yeah, I love it. All right, Dwayne, we are getting toward the end of our chat today, and
Alright,
I do this fun thing called rapid fire round. And
okay,
I haven't even seen these questions. I'm gonna ask the question and you and I are both gonna answer it. Whoever
okay,
wants to
great.
answer it first can. So, first question, rich or wealthy? What's the difference?
Oh my gosh.
I know that's a hard one.
Rich
Um,
and wealthy,
I
what's the
think
difference?
I think it is all in your perspective of
Mhm,
which is which. But for me, they both mean freedom. Like I if I am wealthy, like I feel like wealthy means like you kind of have all your ducks in a row.
mhm,
You've got your estate plan, you're doing your 401, like you're just doing all this stuff. Like but um rich, like I don't even really know what rich means anymore. I mean, I don't even know because I never use that word, but I feel like it's all in your perspective. So, I don't know.
yeah.
What's your
So,
answer?
I think wealthy is the level that we all inspire to be at, right? All the things like my things are set up well. I have the time, freedom of
Yeah.
money, freedom of location, freedom of relationships, right? Like I get to do life who I want to do life with instead of like I have to do life with you. I think that's wealthy. I think rich is what we use to keep up with the Joneses.
Oh, I
Look
don't
at
like
me,
rich.
like, right, I don't like rich either. Like, "Ooh, I'm rich and this is I'm flashing." No, I wanna be wealthy. I want the freedom of all the things to
I do
kinda
too.
come and go.
Freedom of time, freedom of money, and freedom of working from wherever I wanna work.
Yes, and freedom like, the freedom of relationships is huge for me. I don't want there are clients guess what? We don't let's be honest. There are
Yeah.
clients that we don't wanna work with, but we're working with them because we need the money.
Because, and while we're on that subject, I just wanna say, I have this analogy about that because I think that we all get our real estate license and we think that we have to do that for the rest of our lives. No,
Mhm,
you do not. I feel like real estate is a doorway. And once you get your license, you learn that and you master that, you start having the closings, you can manage your money to open so many other doors on the other side of
yes,
real estate. Real estate has so many different opportunities. So we don't have to do that. You can build a team. I don't work with my sellers or my buyers anymore.
mm,
And I'm on a power team at Epic. And, it just, there's so many different ways that you can plan, but you have to
mhm,
plan. You have to
yeah,
get a plan. All right. Question number two, best advice you'd give your younger self about finances.
mm.
Goodness. Pay attention.
Um,
For me, pay attention.
yeah, I would say invest early.
Yeah.
Invest early, and the other thing I would say is hang out with the people you inspire to be like,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That
That's
that
a
would
big
be
one.
and I would also say be in rooms where they're having conversations where things may seem like they're going over your head,
Yeah.
but
I'm in
ask
those rooms
questions.
all day, every
But
day.
ask questions, right? I think the key thing is ask questions, like because I know my I as I've gotten older, I discovered that the adults in my life were intentionally keeping wealth building secrets for some of us on purpose. And I'm like, man, but if you truly loved us, you would have talked about this thing. Now I don't
Yeah.
hold it against them now because I get it. It is what it is. But I would have asked questions when I saw certain things. I wish I had the maturity to ask the right questions.
Yeah, that's all really good stuff. All right, last question, and this is gonna be so hard for you because I know you, and it is a book that changed how you think about money. One book, Dwayne, one book. Okay, my book is Jen Sincero. Oh my gosh, I have it right here, and I just forgot the
That's why I
name of
looked to the side. I went and looked at my bookshelf and see which one. All right, for me, it's easy. The very first book that changed everything for me was Poverty, Riches, and Wealth by Chris Boughton. Um, it literally
Say it
started
again?
Poverty, Riches, and Wealth.
Poverty, Riches, and Wealth.
It started the journey of understanding money because I'm thinking it's going to be like all these strategies. No, like it's all rooted in forgiveness.
Okay, I remember now. Jen Sincero, You're a Badass at Making Money.
There you go.
It's
You
a
are.
really good book, and it will free you from so many limiting beliefs because
Hmm.
they're so fake, and it deserves a second read for me,
Yeah.
honestly, but it really did. It was where I started changing so
Hmm.
many things in my life
Yeah.
and found the freedom to flourish in real estate.
Yeah.
Dwayne, thank you so much. This
Thank you.
conversation isn't just about money, it's about legacy. It's
Mm,
about changing what's possible for people, not just in their business, but in their lives. So,
yeah.
I'm going to put all your information below. So, if you're watching the video, you could watch the video on YouTube or you could read it in the show notes. And friends, if this episode spoke to you, and I want you to remember this, financial freedom isn't something we stumble onto. It's something we decide, learn, and build one choice at a time.
Absolutely. Look, and if you need help with training your kids, if you're like, man, this life insurance thing is different, it's remember, like it's a strategy, right? The best gift you can give your family is not all your bills.
Yeah,
Leave them with something and give them a system that helps them navigate life. But more importantly, protect your income.
love it. All right, Dwayne, thank you so much, my friend.
All right. Thank
I'll
you.
see you on the inside.
All right.
Bye. Thank you for spending this time with me on Agents of Abundance. If today's episode helped you see a new possibility, helped you pause and reflect, and notice what abundance could look like in your own business, if you're ready to go deeper, you'll find more ways to connect with me in the show notes. Until next time, keep building with intention, and remember, when you move out of scarcity, everything begins to flourish.